All right, diving in today, Noteey.
Noteey, okay.
Yeah, it's a visual note-taking app, and we've talked about note-taking apps before a lot,
Well,
actually.
right.
But this one has some interesting stuff. And honestly, some of the stuff you said you wanted to try with it made me even more interested, especially for digging into complex topics, beyond just like quick notes.
Well, yeah, and I think that's where this visual side of it is supposed to really help
Okay.
because, you know, I mean, like you always say, we always say people learn in different ways,
Yeah.
but like a lot of people are visual learners.
Yeah.
And our brains just like work better with visual.
Totally. I know. Yeah, I'm
It's just
definitely.
easier to remember
I'm
a visual
that's
learn.
it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like highlighting just does not do it for me.
Yeah.
Give me a diagram, a mind map.
Yeah.
That's how I learn.
Exactly.
So Noteey does all of that, it sounds like, right? It seems like it from what they're saying. Yeah, they've got whiteboarding, mind mapping, and then even like bringing in images and videos right in with the notes, which
Right.
is interesting, I think.
Yeah, so you could have imagine if you're trying to learn about, I don't know,
Yeah.
some scientific concept, right? And you could have the explanation written out in one part of this Noteey canvas.
Right.
Then you could have a diagram or even a little animation
That's
on
right.
another part.
Pull it in from somewhere. Yeah.
And then jot down your thoughts.
Connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so much better than flipping between a textbook and then your notebook and trying to
Right. And it's all right there together.
make those connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they even mentioned something called infinite canvases.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that what it sounds like?
It sounds like just a giant workspace that you can scroll around in.
Okay.
So I guess not being limited by the size of a physical.
Okay. So we really leaning into that whole web of information instead of
Yeah.
just the linear notes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And you even wrote down second brain
Yeah.
as a use case here.
Right.
Which I got to ask, what is that?
So second brain, it's kind of a buzzword these days, but basically it's like this idea of an external system
Okay.
for organizing all your information. So
Okay.
it's like your notes, your resources.
So almost beyond just note taking, but almost like a
Yeah, like a knowledge base. Yeah.
national knowledge base.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And so the idea is that Noteey with this visual approach
Okay.
could be a good tool for actually building one of these second brains.
Okay, so it's interesting because we've talked about mind mapping and how that helps you remember stuff.
Right.
And if this is almost like a mind map, but on steroids, where
Right.
you're putting in all this extra information.
Yeah, yeah. You're able to recall it
Yeah.
very quickly and make those connections. Yeah.
And that totally ties back to you were saying, you want to explore these complex topics.
Right.
And I feel if you can create those connections visually
Yeah.
and then easily be able to access them later, that could really speed up.
Right. And you're not oh, where was that one thing? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because they also emphasize offline functionality,
Oh, interesting.
which is kind of a big deal.
Okay.
Because everything is so cloud-based these days.
Yeah.
But they seem to really value data privacy and, having control over your stuff, which
Especially with notes.
right.
I mean,
it's just yeah.
Sometimes you write stuff down that you're I don't know if I want that
Yeah.
floating around.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this visual approach, very flexible potential second brain data privacy.
Right.
But there's one thing I'm kind of curious about because they mentioned collaboration features.
And I wasn't quite sure how that plays into everything.
Right. Yeah, they do talk about sharing and a presentation mode,
Okay.
but it wasn't clear if you're working with a team or something,
Right.
how that would all.
Because if you could get almost a shared second brain going or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be pretty powerful,
That'd be very interesting.
especially for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's something to look into.
Yeah. That's
See how that actually works in practice.
See if it works. Yeah.
Yeah, because that could be really cool for study groups or just,
Right. Or even just brainstorming.
yeah, exactly, bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, very interesting stuff. Keep us posted on how Noteey works out for you. Would love to hear a follow-up, but
Yeah, absolutely.
until then, that's it for today's deep dive.
Awesome. Thanks.